Okay. I'm just giving you the answer to the question you're asking all night long.
On Friday night, Stephen A. Smith and Adam Schiff. So the fact that, God bless Bill Maher, I'm going to text you after the show. Stop putting this freak on the show. He's evil. He's awful. These people. Stephen A. Smith and Adam Schiff got into it about whether Republicans want to stop people from voting altogether.
Bottom line is this. I respect the fact that you don't share my pessimism. I truly do. I understand where you're coming from. But I think that's part of the problem. I think the Democratic Party should share my pessimism. I think they should be on high alert. I think they need to treat him with the seriousness that it deserves, because you having a lot of faith in the American people. The man did get over 74 million votes. You've got people that are looking at Joe Biden. I'm not going to call him a cognitive mess or anything like that. That's very disrespectful. I would never speak about our president that way. But when you're 82 years of age, it's not offensive to say you're no longer a spring chicken and you don't seem to have the level of five and the energy that you want to have. And so you take that into consideration. You can't ignore the fact that this man is a threat.
Oh, make no mistake. I take him as serious as a heart attack.
Okay.
I'm optimistic, but we're going to have to fight tooth and nail. And one of the biggest obstacles we're going to have to overcome is all the efforts to prevent people from voting.
Okay.
We're going to have to turn out our people. We're going to have to work like never before. We're going to have to work like our democracy is on the line, because it damn well is.
Right.
I take this as serious as a heart attack.
Let's interject one thing into this discussion about Trump that we've been having all night. It was a question I was going to ask you. We ran out of time.
Sure.
The Atlantic put out an article last year, and it was called "Separating Sports by Sex Doesn't Make Sense."
Right.
And talked about how we separate sports like the WNBA and just because it's just socialization. This is insane.
I agree.
Okay. That's why people vote for Trump. Because there's stuff like that on the left that people just go, I know Trump's horrible, but separating by sports by sex makes perfect sense. And if you think it doesn't, you can't lead the country.
But that's cutting off your nose to spite your face.
Okay. I'm just giving you the answer to the question you're asking all night long. Why do they vote for Donald Trump? It's not always because they like him. No, it's because stuff like that is kookier to them.
Okay, as you can see, we played the longer version of the clip there when they got into the separating stuff by sex, because I'm trying to illustrate that there was a sane liberal position, which Bill Maher still tries to hold on to for all his faults and everything else. And I know every time I give him credit, people get pissed at me. It's okay. There were sane positions, but now you have the decent liberal, the sane liberal, the only one, because Adam Schiff is a progressive lunatic and Seth MacFarlane is also a progressive lunatic, saying there is a reason people vote for Trump. Bill's going, I'm not going to vote for Trump. I don't like Trump. I always make fun of Trump. Trump makes fun of me. We fight all the time. But there's a sane position here. Now, as for Stephen A. Smith and the original purpose of the clip, first up, when Stephen A. says this thing about I'm not going to disrespect the office by talking about his mental state, and then he says, he's no spring chicken. It's like, I'm not disrespecting the office of the president when I tell you that there is something wrong with Joe Biden. I'm actually respecting it. I want the president to have some level of cognitive ability. I want the president to not sound like he is about to keel over and get confused in the middle of sentences and be able to read properly off a teleprompter and not make up words and make up stories about his past, because I care about America, because I care about the office of the presidency. So I think Stephen A., all due respect, I think you got it slightly backwards there. As for Schiff, who is just so freaking shifty, he is shifty Schiff. Trump, Shifty Schiff. I'll give you credit on that nickname, Trump. The idea that Republicans are the ones who don't want people to vote is complete nonsense. Republicans generally want people to show an ID when you vote, which you have to do in the state of Florida, versus when I lived in California and when I accidentally, because it was by default, went to show the guy my ID, he kind of freaked out. We want secure elections. Nobody is stopping anyone from with a valid ID from voting. The idea that black people somehow can't get IDs is deeply racist. It's the soft bigotry of low expectations. And I'm fairly certain I've seen black people on planes. Has everyone in this room seen a black person on a plane? Black people, even Snake's on a plane. What's his name? He's black.